Viewer discretion is advised. Oh man, they were beastly, man, for real. Like they were really strong. They weren't like pushover walkers that they're facing now. In present day, like they were really, they were manhandling.
These walkers are fresh. They're not decomposed or
man.
They got that.
That was a
meat.
little bit of a weird thing, though. I thought because like in terms of this, and I guess that's one of the things that we'll get to. Like it's good, whatever. But like they're in the water, so maybe they were water damaged or whatever. But it was a little weird that like I don't think we've ever seen a zombie literally turn away from someone as they were about to kill him.
Oh no, we're talking about on the
like
beach.
I don't know.
Yeah. While they were on the beach.
You're talking about the zombie
beach.
under the boat. You're talking with the yeah. That's another question I was gonna bring up too.
So the zombies on the beach, you think that they were like?
Oh no, we're just bringing up the obvious fact where like the Walking Dead zombies are just all like decomposed and
definitely
you can crush their heads with your skulls,
Yeah, and
so
these ones are like
you gotta actually
people still.
Yeah, right. So it's gonna be harder to kill them. It's just another layer of.
They're gonna have their man strength still, maybe even a little more strength because there's no inhibition. There's no.
Yeah, you saw she hit him with the rock, or someone hit him with a rock and just kept coming like
a woman too.
Yeah, it was some little woman zombie.
Oh man,
True.
Wait, why? Can't hit a woman with a rock and she can't stand up to it, yo? What the hell? We're gonna have
in some other countries that's actually a thing. And shit is crazy. To keep it real dark in this podcast.
Stoning, man.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But,
so there was also they put Liza out to sea, and then there was obviously the pirates or whatever that are gonna board them.
Pirates.
He said it too. That's what I'm saying. Like, does it?
There's gotta be pirates.
Nobody ever heard of a fucking pirate, yo. How you just gonna tell these guys where the fuck you are, bro? All of a sudden you see the skull and crossbones. Skull and crossbones with the black sails, and they're like, oh shit, here we go. Yeah, I'm telling you, nobody heard of a fucking pirate around here.
They don't got pirates in this universe. You don't know.
God, bro.
How is she gonna know? Alicia's first foray into anything. Like, she never had this concept in her perfect little existence.
It's true.
True. That's what makes the writing on the show so weird, though, is because you have characters like El Salvador and the smoothest talker, and just makes it weird. But like, we'll get into that, I guess.
I mean, let's just.
And then, did you guys watch the commercial?
The commercial? No.
Watch next week?
No, not for next week, but like the commercials. They had the Preacher preview.
Oh yes.
I don't know if you guys.
I saw. I saw it. Well, actually,
we can talk a little bit about that. Then.
No, I didn't see it.
What, the Preacher show, right?
Yeah, I didn't see it. That's right. I fast forward. Because the person, my wife, I watch with my wife, and God forbid I rewind. Or God forbid I don't fast forward during the freaking commercials because it's gonna be an issue.
I know you're looking forward to that show, right?
I'm into that shit, man. I never got a chance.
Have you read it?
I didn't get a chance to read it all the way through, but I know what's going on. I know what's going on.
True. Nice. That'd be an interesting thing to talk about. We can even continue because does that show? It said May something, so I guess it's running concurrently with Fear the Walking Dead. Because the Fear the Walking Dead is definitely not done next month, right? It's not that short of a season.
Don't give me that.
It's not going to be an eight. Well, it'll go into next month anyway, but
it could be. Yeah, that still wouldn't be enough.
That wouldn't be enough, no.
True. All right. And then there was the Gears of War. Commercial too.
Oh no, you just right.
Oh, that's what I actually did hear that they were going to show a thing for it.
Gears of War.
Yeah, I checked that out later.
What is it like?
It's Gears 4.
Gears 4, but this goes back to the beginning, right?
No, it's actually like 20 or 25 years ahead.
Oh, ahead?
Yeah, it's 25 years later. It's Marcus Phoenix's kid.
I'm thinking ahead instead of thinking ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like ahead.
We can talk about that too.
Yeah.
Instead of like ahead of time. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I'm thinking, I looked at the word ahead and I perceived it wrong.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know how it is with Jay. He hears the word head, he starts thinking about one thing, and he just starts losing himself.
Mr. Big Head from Rocky Mountain Life.
Bo. What's your new name, Jay? Big Head.
Mr. Big Head.
Mr. Big Head.
I said a head. All right, you don't want to talk about a specific head.
Hey.
Hey. So we good to go?
Yeah, so
I thought we were done.
I mean, I'm still recording, so I was fuck it. I mean, we gave a little synopsis.
You can record, but like, I mean, I think that it's good for us to get this little part in beforehand where we talk about it and kind of figure out, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I've been recording regardless, just in case there's anything we missed.
The table read. Yeah. This is like the table read, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, we just kind of hit the points and we kind of get a feel where each other's at, and then we can kind of massage things as they go on. You know,
I like that.
We all have a general sense now.
Hey man, I'm all about the sexual innuendos.
Honestly, I didn't know that Jay was into Preacher. I didn't know he read it at all. Yeah, so like that's an interesting thing. So like I think we gotta have a discussion on that because I honestly tried to read it.
The hell was that?
That was the weapon, bro.
Oh, I mean, I don't know anything about the Preacher.
That was the power, bro.
He was singing his favorite Skrillex song.
Skrillex?
Boom.
Boom, snap, pop, clap.
Call 911 now.
So you really think he went out to fucking swim? Or you think it was just like, he was just angry and wanted to die?
I think he went out to swim. But I think they framed that shit as real weird in general anyway. With like we're all chilling eating eel and it's a good time.
Yeah.
Yo, they could have made some good ass eel, man. I know some recipes, bro.
I wasn't.
Well, Salvi Dad's got it down. He knows what he's doing.
I mean, I guess if I need food, I'll try it.
Eel's good.
I hear, but I don't know.
Hey, why not?
I'm not really into seafood.
Or like a black bean sauce kind of thing, you know, like a black bean glaze sauce or something, or like a soy ginger. Oh my lord.
You're
teriyaki. Oh my god. It's good, bro. It's so slithery and good.
Yeah.
That's how you like it.
Slithery.
Yeah.
Do you fish? Do you fish with your father?
I keep.
Alright, y'all, let's pop this off. Let's go. Let's do it.
So this is episode 9 of Day After Dead. We're gonna continue. This is following up from Walking Dead, which concluded last week. So we're going straight into Fear the Walking Dead. I'm FUNKNOWN. I'm here with Jay and Asadasa.
Jay.
What up?
And I guess let's just go straight into it. What'd you guys think of the episode? Strong episode. You think you have your doubts going? You know, because I think we were all kind of lukewarm of how the Walking Dead ended. Maybe more on the negative side.
I think we arrived maybe like a half hour to an hour late because I wanted to see what the hell was going on, like beyond the ridge, beyond the cliff. You know, all the chaos. I was waiting to see a mushroom cloud, and even though the fire was cool, all that was going down, but what was happening? What happened?
Oh, you're saying that at the beginning of the episode, right?
Yeah,
how it just went right into that.
Damn it!
Yeah, that's the first thing I was disappointed in. Like all this chaos, they're at the end of the beach, shit going down. How did this happen? The last episode, how the first half of the season ended was just that they killed Liza. Travis shot Liza, and they were just on the beach, and I had the camera pan out. We didn't see any hell breaking loose, but now here we go. Jump, I guess a few hours forward, and it's all broken. Everything's falling apart.
So it was a weird choice, I think, to just kind of like start off all this destruction and stuff. Like it would have been nice to see it, and I feel like in a lot of ways this season, like it kind of continued off the last season, where they just skipped off a lot of stuff then too with like the actual outbreak and everything, and like they were all just in the houses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hope that that's not like a concurrent running theme within Fear the Walking Dead in general, because I think that's the really unique thing it has to bring is like these large scale like attempts at things such as like the military dropping bombs or trying to deal with the outbreak. Man. I want to see them kind of deal with that, you know?
Of course. That's you know, I mean, it's like you go into it expecting to see these things, but I guess the question of do we hold it against the show that they don't show us, or do we, you know, as a viewer, how do we look at this, you know? Because like at one end, do we accept, I guess moving forward, do we have to just accept that this is probably what the show is going to be?
I mean, I guess to an extent, it's just that at a certain point though, then is there a purpose to the show? Because that's kind of like what this show is particularly trading on, is the early parts of the whole outbreak and what's happening. And if they're not going to actually go to any extent to really show it, then to a certain extent, then they need to find something else to really sell us on it. And I think for me personally, at least, there isn't enough that they're really done to really sell me on the events taking place or the characters, to the point where I think I might have spent a good quarter of the episode trying to remember what the names of half these people were.
Yeah, and I want to see the military. I want to see the eyes, I want to see the eyes of the generals, of the field commanders. I want to see in their eyes when they decide that, oh my God, we have lost the world.
I would love to see that.
We have lost L.A. We have lost Old Town Calabasas, Beverly Hills, evacuate. You know, like, I want to see that. I want to see them push the buttons, call in airstrikes. I want to see towns being overrun by large herds everywhere, just zombies everywhere, walkers everywhere. I want to see that. Like, did we really come in an hour late? What happened?
Yeah, actually, this was 90 minutes, this episode. You didn't know that?
Oh my God. It sucks, bro.
They lied. Last week wasn't 90 minutes for Walking Dead. They were actually meant that it was 90 minutes for this episode.
Yeah.
I felt like same thing, though, where when I started watching this, and even at the end, I think I had the impression that the whole episode overall felt more like a second or third episode as opposed to a season premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have been missing something, or they already, like, something was going on, and we just said, like, we arrived to the show late. You know, like, things already happened. Of course, things already happened, but in the show, you know, like, didn't feel like a beginning to me.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Or if anything, it felt like that the first half of the season finale of the first half was it ended with like a lot of chaos. That's what this felt like. You know, it felt like what The Walking Dead usually ends on, but it didn't end that way.
Yeah.
You know, to see it start that way is a little confusing.
Tisk.
That's crazy though. At least they have a boat though, because, you know,
Abigail.
They would have been dead right there. They were. It was close for them.
It was very close for them, and that's one of that's like the shining beauty of the show, because now we're not going to become complacent or we're not going to become overly comfortable in one spot. It's going to be about moving around, finding. There's no safe harbor. That's one of the taglines, but that's. Keep it moving. I want to see what's going on.
Tagline?
Yeah. There's no safe harbor.
That's cute.
That's cute.
You know what I take that as though?
What?
That this whole season's gonna be on the boat.
No, damn. I take that as
save that budget, man.
We're gonna save the budget. We're gonna be docking. I'm taking that as we gotta dock and we gotta get, because they have no supplies.
Yeah, no,
so,
for sure. Yeah.
So
that's a big ass boat. They might have a ton of supplies. Plus, they could just fish all day. Fuck it.
They said as much though, and you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the filtration system for the water, right?
That is true.
Plus, they can fish.
That's big.
I mean, what else you need, really?
And that was such a nice house that they left, though. Not to jump backwards real quick. Oh man, what a property they just lost there, man.
That was nice, right?
The market, but the market, the market could resurface. The market could really
true,
resurface.
right?
It could bounce back, bro. It could bounce back. You should have put up a better fight for that.
I think he should have. He was too busy with the boat. He should have been like, "Hey, man, no, like this is early days. They don't know shit is so real yet. So like, he should have been fighting for his land more.
So that's
who this talker needs to worry about his money more."
I'm sorry. Well, what I was gonna say is to build on your point, right? To build on what you just said. Does he have an agenda? Did he not want? I mean, of course, there was chaos breaking out everywhere, but. Like, it seemed like he was already, like, that's exactly what he wanted to do.
It kind of seemed like he was hyped for it.
Yeah, like, this is, like, I'm all alone.
Or doesn't matter. Ready for it.
Doesn't matter what happens, we're getting on this boat because of what?
You know? He seemed, even when he was in the prison, when he was talking to, not Johnny Depp, that he was, like, he was kind of had a point that he wanted to, like, a destination in mind, it seemed like. Because he wanted him to help him get out of the prison, more or less, and then get on the boat. And then, like, right away, he's kind of like, yeah, we're going to San Diego. Like, he kind of, like, he knew where to go. Like, he kind of seems like he maybe has something in mind, you know? He's not totally flying by the seat of his pants.
Well, in San Diego, that's the largest naval base in America.
True.
He did mention the thing about the Coast Guard, or something about holding the line at the coast, or the Gulf, he mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's no real reason to know. Like, I guess what I'm trying to get at more or less is that we don't really know, like you said, in terms of agenda, because how does he have any idea about what the Coast Guard's doing, whatever? I suppose we just don't really know too much information all about the smoothest talker, other than just that he's the smoothest talker. That's about all we got.
Yeah, but exactly. So, but we don't, since we don't know too much, there's a lot that we might not know.
Mm-hmm.
So who did he talk to already? Because obviously he was well prepared, aside from all the supplies that he says he doesn't have, but he was really ready to bug out. So he might have a network set in place. These are those kinds of people that they have networks set in place. That's interesting
to think about, though.
You know,
that he has like a system already built for like end of whatever scenario, or like maybe even just a getaway if anything. Say like this, there's some shady history to this dude. Maybe he has that failsafe, that he can fall back on already.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has all these resources, so I wouldn't see why not. If I had that kind of money, exactly. I would have that.
That's what I would do. I'd have contingency plans upon contingency plans. For plan B, B2, B3, all that for sure.
Why B2 and B3 and not C and D?
I don't know, because I can't give up too fast. You know what I'm saying? I can't give up like that.
You can't give up on plan B yet.
You know what I'm saying? That's like throwing in the towel already, man.
But you gave up on A so fast. What happened?
A is just really like that's just flying by the seat of your pants right there. A sometimes is just like run and gun.
Just say, man. You
or
like
just in the moment. A is like in the moment.
Drop B.
You jump to 2 quick, but you can't jump to 3 too fast because we know what happens in trilogies.
A sometimes is really impulsive. You didn't have a second. You didn't really have time to think about it. You just do. A is just doing.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about Type A personalities, it's the opposite.
Hey, what are you saying?
More like retentive.
Hey, here we go.
Hey.
It's true. It's what
he says getting ahead in the anal retention.
I don't know what you're talking about because all that stuff was way before the recording.
Hey, it's all connected, man. New York telephone. It's all relative, baby.
Hey.
Oh man, Alicia's breaking down already, man. Alicia is breaking down already. The poor girl. She's looking out. She's looking out and.
To explain the sudden change of topic, where we have the thing playing live, and JJ over here forgets that, but it's okay because I actually wanted to segue into the next, the immediate next thing we get into, which is actually Alicia trying to save these people stranded on the boat. Well, I mean, like, what? That's a tough situation.
Jack.
No, before that even. Remember the people that were
the
that
original
they had
people
decided they should stop.
Oh, the people on the dinghy.
Yeah, what are you guys doing in that situation? What would you?
Man. I'm waving back at them. That's what I'm doing. I'm waving hi. That's what I'm doing, man.
You know what though? It's a problem with the writing again because again, like this is so early in the outbreak that we're sitting there as viewers saying like, oh man, film want to pick up these people. Because we kind of know how things go in this world at this point, right? But this early in the outbreak, like, I mean, you kind of, that's what you do. Like, they shouldn't be so jaded quite yet, you know what I mean? In the second season.
It wasn't really them. It was, it was Strand. It was Strand.
Right, but the smoothest talker was, El Salvidad was.
There was a consensus.
Even,
but if it wasn't for Strand, they would have had the people on board.
But in that situation, though, why that could have been a lot of key information lost right there. Because think about what had just happened. Those could be the survivors from the boat that we now know was attacked. So maybe just creep up on them, get a little closer to them, and see, feel them out. You don't have to let them on the boat in order to ask them the 3 questions: how many walkers have you killed? Why? Right. How many people have you killed?
Well, they wouldn't have that.
Of course not, but
you're just saying in general.
Yeah, but quite feel them out, see what's going on, and then you, let's go. We gotta.
I mean, because the truth of the matter is, you think about the early seasons of Walking Dead, they were so much more ready to pick up people in the beginning. It took them a while to lose that faith or whatever, and then kind of like you see the journey they took from going on. I feel like these characters kind of need to have a little bit more of that in the meantime. Like they kind of jumped a little bit too quickly into we don't know these people that could be dangerous, because you had smoothest talker El Salvidad and whatever the other dad is. I haven't come up with a cool name for him. Generic dad. But
we can call him. We can call no. I was gonna say Arab Ahab.
Travis Ahab. All right, so we'll go with Ahab.
But I love to speak to what you were saying right now. But if you think about it, maybe they are jaded in such a way because of think about the it's like a regional thing. It's like a cultural regional thing.
Well, not the cultural thing, but that the family's jaded.
Only because I only say cultural because of where they live, due to the region that they live in. Like the area, if you think about Georgia and Atlanta down south, people are more southern hospitality. More they embrace easier. They allow you in more. But then if you think about the West Coast and LA and California, you think about California, like you think about more urban areas and people keeping arm's distance, not letting people in so fast. So that's maybe already a part of their mentality, not to just jump into situations and not to just allow other people into your situation.
Well, instead of I agree with you, but I think it more has to do with specific family, because I wouldn't really say the culture down south, because this for every good person, there's probably a really fucked up person.
Of course.
So that as far as generalizing that, but Rick, I think more specifically, he was a cop, he was a good guy, he had the perfect life, the happy life with his wife. Everything was looking fine for him. He was a man of the law, So to contrast it with this family, Travis is divorced he has a divorced family.
But he was the mayor of the town.
Who?
Travis.
No, but I'm saying
the town that they were in afterwards.
He has
right?
his vice.
Of course, yeah, but
he has his
vice. Even before any of the zombie stuff happened, though, I think they painted them as generally pretty happy, because he might have been divorced, but I think he was happy with his new life. His wife was
maybe him, Maddie, but I'm saying Nick wasn't happy. Nick was going through some shit. The daughter.
Oh, he was happy as fuck. He was on them drugs. He was fucking down with it, man. He was good.
I don't know.
The man had no problems. He was fucking high as in the sky.
But I'm saying he's addicted to drugs. That's not a very, that's a man. That's a man with he has problems. And then to my point is, at the end of the first half of this is Nick's strength is that he's already ready for this because of his jaded life. So I think this family, to see them already acting so fast to let these people go, even though the wife showed concern about it and she was fighting to try to get them on board, I still think the few of them that are ready to cut the ties with the rest of humanity, I think that's justified in my opinion.
But I feel the Nick and Alicia, they were kind of a little bit more just your typical angsty teenagers, though. He loved his drugs and he was super down for drugs and that was his life. But for the most part, I don't think that they were generally unhappy with things. Even Nick, in all of his drug love, was still kind of a little bit more close knit with his family. He was a little bit more closer to it. It was Alicia that was a little bit more looking to kind of escape and hang out more with her boyfriend and do stuff like that. She was a little bit more alienated. And then the first season was kind of her coming a little bit more back into that fold and kind of becoming a little bit more familial. But I don't know if I necessarily would say that that's something that makes it that they're so cool with all of a sudden killing people or leaving them to die. It seems like that's a little bit of a there's a jump there that I don't know if necessarily fits, because you might not have a connection with your family, but at the same time too, you don't know these people from a hole in the wall and you know that they need help. It seems to me that the first thing you would kind of think of is, let's go and provide some help to these people. We don't know their situation. And I think that just kind of the jump from that is just a little bit too severe, because it's not really something laid out, or at the very least, I guess they just need to make a little bit clearer why it is that they're a little bit more down for that sort of thing. They've done a pretty good job, I think, of that with El Salvador because of his background and all the stuff they had going on, and I think that they kind of fit that well with him. But I don't know if they've really done that for the main family.
I think you're underestimating the dark shit that Nick would see in his world.
Absolutely, man.
But as far as the daughter, I agree with you. Because but in the end, the daughter wasn't okay actually. So,
who?
The daughter, she wasn't okay with not letting the people on board. Neither was the mom.
Right, because that's what they kind of had her journey be at the end, was a little bit to be more closely tied to it. Nick wasn't okay with it either. You know, that's you know, like I said, like most of the characters, like there's 7 people on the boat.
Yeah, he wasn't okay,
him,
but he
like,
was ready to, you know, he was like
he wasn't gonna fight the smoothest talker on it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
smoothest talker.
Because he comes up to him.
Is there any backstory to that?
Let's call him Shaft.
By the way,
you hear his voice? I think we need to just go and like, I'm just gonna talk to you like this.
Well done, Nick.
Like, I mean,
well done.
Come on, man, tone it down a little bit. Like every word that man speaks just sounds so unbelievable to me because it's like he's trying to sell me something. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's a salesman.
Yeah,
he's a salesman.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how do we feel about his him and Nick's relationship then? You know, because they had that little interaction. Nick came up and just tried to explain the side of his mom and whatever.
Oh, I love it.
Then they had their little thing, and then he leaves, and he's like, "All right, you know, that they're buds, I guess."
Yeah, they're two hustlers. That's why. They're two hustlers.
How many times have you died? Every time I hit up.
Every time I shot, I died. Almost died, man. Shit. Yeah, man.
I know where you're coming from, brother.
It's real like, recognizes real, God. Real holler back at the God hour.
I'm gonna take you under my wing, and you're gonna be smoothest talker number 2. You'll take under my steed.
Oh.
So, you know, they had that conversation on the top of the boat, and then past that was then they were kind of asking about the depth of the sea, right?
Yeah, the mom.
Yeah. It took me a while to remember, actually, because, like, they said, like, what people that were on the boat, they're like, all right, so we have, like, the way they kind of listed it was, how is it that Travis said, like, the name of people on the boat? He's like a corpse, a grieving kid, like they kind of like gave like the quick breakdown of all the people, like an injured woman,
a corpse. Yeah, imagine that though, getting onto that boat and see what's going on. Hold up, man. Is that you know you gonna shake the body on the bed?
One time, swim over.
Hold up a second, man. What's going on here? You guys got a dead body on the bed.
I mean, that's not a bad idea though. One at a time, swim over.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Whoever can't swim can
natural selection.
There you go.
That's true. It makes you think though if they should have just taken the people on the boat just to like triple their fucking numbers. You know? Like I mean blatantly their family, right? But at the same time too, you know, they have 7 people, maybe 4 of which are capable. Like I bet they're kicking their ass now in the situation that they're in at the end of the episode about not picking up those other people.
You mean that they probably have people coming towards them and now they have no one to...
I mean, I figured we'd get to it later on, but like, you know, the episode kind of ends with...
Yeah.
I figure they're going to be outnumbered hard. Like, I don't know if these people are going to be good or bad that are coming, but they're most definitely going to have more people there than they're going to have. And
Could
whereas
it
if they picked
more
up those
firepower, you think? Like maybe just a few dudes, but just with like rifles?
Possible.
It could also be too many variables to throw in the situation because, like I said, if they were victims of what had just happened, they could be quick to fold. Like, you know, now you got more numbers like fighting against you. Like, this is a yacht. I already messed with these guys. I know what they're capable of. Hold up, I'm gonna fight with them now.
Right. I mean, I think did they show us with Alicia kind of giving exact details over the radio?
It was just used the smoke,
the plume. Yeah,
it was just we're south of it, etc.
But she didn't say like we have like 5 people or like me and my brother.
No.
Like she didn't give like exact details.
Yeah,
because like, you know, if they had that, then like, you know, so they didn't really know what they were going into either.
Yeah, because like the guy, you can tell the guy probably tried to pry because he said, "Oh, so you're on a yacht." And she was like,
right.
A boat. And then that was the end, at least for my Jay. You remember details? I don't know. Seems like you're trying to remember.
Yeah, she did start talking about the filtration system,
Mm-hmm.
and he did come to a conclusion. You could tell that he came to a conclusion that she was
good to raid.
Yeah, it was something nice. She had something nice going on. She was. In a
she
good
said
situation.
he said something like, "Oh, he must be rich or something," right?
Right, that's what it was. Yeah. And then the filtration unit is more than enough to
know.
To know.
Yep.
That's a hit you gotta take.
It's not a dinghy.
Right.
Just because of the water alone, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's an asset right there. Hey, 2 boats are better than 1.
Hey.
Now you got an armada growing.
Oh shit!
Fleet. Holy shit! What?
Pirates.
The Last Ship. Anybody watch The Last Ship?
Nope.
You never heard of The Last Ship?
Show?
Oh,
I've heard of it.
Man, that show is awesome, man. It's about another caveat. Sorry, sidebar. It's there's an outbreak that happened. People getting sick. So, what happens is they focus in on this destroyer, a naval destroyer, one of the last one, and they're riding around because eventually they put together an antidote, and then a vaccination to cure the outbreak. But they're running around the whole country. They're fighting their way through the whole country because now everybody's hearing against it. Then you have other factions that are trying to that are not trying to restore the government, but that are trying to seize control of a governmentless country. Oh my lord, it's really good. It's really you should check it out.
First season done.
Yeah. Actually, it's on the 3rd season now.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It's really good.
I remember seeing that show had one of the Baldwins on it, but I never get around to watching it.
Yeah. The other Baldwin.
The other one?
Yeah, the other one.
Daniel
Baldwin.
Right.
Daniel Baldwin. You got oh no, wait, was it William?
I think it was Adam.
Adam. There you go. Because it's really only Alec.
Yep.
Honestly.
Alec.
It's really only Alec. And then there's Baldwin. But yeah, anyway.
What kind of... That's crazy, though, that this is happening, and then there's people already trying to jump on society and just take over. That's fucked up.
Yeah, man.
This is how it would be,
Opportunists, man.
Yeah.
You gotta strike while the iron's hot.
Nuts.
Boulder Dash.
So, Steve, in the end, if it was your boat, would you let those people on?
I mean, I think I'd try to figure out what they're about first, kind of see what's going on. I just think I wouldn't immediately give up on them. Like, I have to put myself in a position of, if this thing were to be something that just happened and we're so new to everything, like we've seen Dead Walk and all this other stuff, and like we've seen a fair shit, but I don't think we've seen enough to really hate or to distrust humanity quite yet. And I think that'd be a little interesting, in kind of like seeing what the deal is with these people. Maybe taking them on and then kind of maybe seeing like what happens from there.
Right there.
I would run that shit though,
You would run what?
That ship,
Like
at that point, it'd be like, this is our ship.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm here now. I'm here now, nigga.
What you gonna do, motherfucker?
Where's the chair? Where's my seat at? Got my seat warm for me. Where's the wheelhouse?
But this talker.
But
get down here.
You know what I'm thinking, right? When you said that, there was a scene in the first season when Madison was about to she was gonna kill Susu, her neighbor. You remember the scene? And then Trav didn't let her, and then you see what do you call him?
El Salvador.
El Salvador. You see him in the window. Weak. Mm-hmm. You see right there, like if I had the tech, if I knew how to edit and chop things up, like right as you were talking and said that, I would have shot that in there weak, because bro, how you just gonna start letting people on your ship like that, man?
Because you gotta start off with a baseline of trust, good faith.
Baseline of trust, yeah, okay.
As they fuck it up,
bro, then it's too late. Once they fuck it up,
how is it too late?
Haven't we learned anything, man, from what we see?
What have we learned?
We have the opportunity. No, but we have. I'm saying us right here. We're talking about what we would do.
But that's what I'm saying. That's how I say
in that world.
Oh, us in that world,
right?
Still, I keep them at arm's length, straight up. All right, you guys can ride with us. You guys can ride with us. We can form a fleet, an armada. But you're not getting on the ship.
I would let him on bad there, just give him like a rope.
Yeah, dude, we can tow you along. That's cool. I'm not gonna leave you to die because I got a heart too, but I got a heart for my family too, though. I'm above that, man. I'm not just gonna. These people are strange and they're desperate. Everyone's desperate.
It's really you got to consider the resources. You know, I feel like that's a big deal.
Of course, that's a big deal too.
I'm looking around on who I got in this boat, right? I got me, my family,
and everyone's hot. Everyone's
daughter,
good looking,
and I got smoothest talking.
All the women are good looking too on the ship.
That's true.
You know, everyone's pretty.
Hey, everybody's good looking.
Everyone.
Even the drugged out, not Johnny Depp is not Johnny Depp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. You know, you just leaving them open to bad stuff, man. That's not.
So you got to give them a shot. You know, you keep up. You let them on the boat. You keep your eyes open, and it's like the first sign of them fucking around. Get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, you keep them at arm's length, but you don't immediately just be like, nah, fuck them. I'm ditching them. Let them fucking rot. You know what I mean? Because like now they're in this situation where pirates are coming, and like they're gonna get fucked up because they have no numbers. And now you're kind of kicking yourself in the ass. It's like, man, like we could have picked up those other dudes on that dinghy, and we would have had like double-digit numbers, and we could have fucking maybe done something. You know what I mean? Like now we have no chance.
Unless those people have guns with them and their little dinghy, they can have 30 people. They're not gonna do nothing against 5 dudes with assault rifles.
Especially if they're already victimized by the pirates, because now, like I said before, they're gonna be like, "God damn, here we go again." I'm just siding with the pirates this time around, man. I'm not going through this shit. I'm not ending up. I'm not getting back on that dinghy, man. I'm not getting back on that dinghy.
You gotta have numbers, though. You can't start off with just a small group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's validity to all points, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like
all right, so can we agree to all right, let's agree to this, because I will agree that I can agree that, you know, to give a chance, but I'm going to give you a chance to give me some information first. I'm going to creep in to a point where I can hear you out and fill you out. And see what I can dig up, what I can investigate. Okay? But I'm not just going to I can't not in sound mind and sound heart just let someone on like that, man. It's just we've been through too much already, and we've lost too much already just to make that decision just because because we're not jaded, because in the world that they live in, they're already jaded. You know,
you would let them on, right? Just keep an eye on them. That's what.
All right, we'll keep an eye on them, or we'll put them in the galley. I mean, not the galley. We'll put them in the brig. You know.
But okay. I think my point though too is that at this point, like once they get fucked up by the pirates, they kind of have a reason to be a little jaded.
I think they have.
But the way that the families,
but I think they have that reason. They've seen if right now today, right in my world, if I were to be in their situation in the first half, I don't think I'm letting those people on the boat. You know,
what happened?
I hesitate and keep them like locked in one.
That's what I'm saying.
And keep them locked away. Like at the best, like my heart is gonna let them on. But I'm telling you right now, like I right now in this world, I'm ready for some shit like this. Where like my head, if I see people walking to me and eating people and shit like that, I know that motherfucking shit is going down, and you know that we're living in a world like that.
You know, I'm shooting them in the head. I'm not shooting them in the knees or, now I'm aiming for the face.
Right. I just don't know what you've seen so far.
Because they were betrayed by the military. Like we saw all that already. The whole city was taken over by the military. But they were taken over by the military, people who they were looked up to, who were supposed to be there for them.
The saviors. They were saviors too.
And if they can't trust even the military, what the hell what hope do they have with dad and like the whole city being bombed and burned?
To trust other desperate people.
It's like I think they're there already. That's like,
to what capacity though right now do you trust the government to be able to handle something that would be a wide-scale outbreak of something? You know what I mean? So like, is it really a shock that all of a sudden the government would end up being a little bit shady and to do a little bit more fucked up shit?
But like, it seems like that doesn't necessarily
give you any reason to distrust civilians, because those are other people that are in the same boat as you. You haven't quite had a reason to distrust those civilians yet. As far as they're aware at this point, civilians in and of themselves have kind of just received the bad lot. The government hasn't done a single thing to help them. And then at the same time too, like they don't have the trust of government, but here they are on their boat running into the government's hands. Like they're not really throwing up a stink about going to San Diego to go deal with the Coast Guard. You know, so like the distrust is just kind of like it's a little bit nonsensical. They haven't really gotten any reason to distrust these people, but the people that they do have a reason to distrust, they're like flying into their arms.
I think it's just like a combination of everything. It's like what's going on in the world. It's the trust that they don't have for people, and it's also the fact that their resources are limited, and also that they have this dude who they don't have any ownership of the boat. That's also another thing to consider, you know.
I mean, like, the ownership of the boat is one big deal, but that's also why like they make the point. It's like, you know, you can sleep. We're not gonna fucking overthrow you. We're not gonna mutiny.
Yeah, but he don't trust.
You know, like that's one.
That guy especially doesn't trust nobody.
Wait,
so this talker doesn't at all because he's got his own thing. Like he's like, y'all on the ride. Like I'll fucking y'all. If I stop the boat, you guys are just getting off.
You getting off. You know?
That's I think the other thing is like I kind of trust the smoothest talker to run the shit. You know, like I think he would pick them up and he'd be like, listen, get on the boat. If all you fuck around once, you're getting off the boat.
No, I can hear that.
Like, but now you gotta get us off the boat.
That's true.
Now you gotta get us off the boat though. So, there's only one smoothest talker. Now there's 15 of us.
Right, but you guys got no fucking weapons. You got nothing. So it's like
they do. They got what? 15 times 2. They got 30 arms, 30 fists.
So
what you mean?
So you're just talking about numbers against guys with guns.
Yeah.
But then you won't talk numbers when nobody has guns.
So they got nothing.
I don't know. It's just about if you believe in that, man. I got a property I got a property I want you to look at, man.
I don't know if you're gonna try to.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you're trying to get at because it doesn't have anything to do with painting me as being like gullible or anything like that.
Yeah, it is, man. Because your trust factor is a little too open, man. It really is.
It should be. Nothing has happened. Nothing to that point. To leave people like that. They haven't done anything.
I don't think any of us really. Well, oh, you mean them? I don't know. I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to agree. This is all
in the context of them. If we're talking about,
I know that. I know.
As the viewers, we clearly know that there are shitty people out there.
Oh, of course.
Because we've seen 3 years down the line of the outbreak.
So they don't know that there's shitty people out there.
They haven't seen it yet. Who have they seen other than the government? You know what I mean? They haven't done enough.
But why are you discrediting the fact that their fucked up family, that like a drug addict son, that is a big deal. Nobody trusts anybody with that. You understand? That's one alone. 2, they've already seen more than enough shit within the few days that all this has been going. Actually, a few weeks or whatever the time lapse has been with the military and their town falling apart and their own moments that they had in the first half. They've had all these moments.
Then you've even had the barber, someone even close to you. You've seen what lanes he'll go to.
Yeah, that was a big.
But that's also the point that I'm getting at. Is it's like it's fucking weird that you have the barber who has a mentality of someone 3 years down the line.
No, he has that mentality. He has that mentality because of what
have this early in an outbreak.
He's had that mentality way before this, not because of the outbreak or anything. That's just how he lives.
That's how he adapted.
That's how
he adapted.
Right. He's already adapted.
Did a good job of showing that from the El Salvador. Because he had whatever happened in El Salvador, and they did a fairly decent job of setting it up for that character. But at the same time, too, I don't think they've done that for the other characters. They haven't really set it up for them to be as distrusting. This guy, they kind of did a decent job of making it seem like he could be a distrusting person, because the life that he came from in El Salvador was one where distrust was kind of built into him. These other families haven't had that type of life. And that's why when he sits there and he's like weak and he says all this other shit, it makes sense from his perspective. It doesn't make any sense.
Let's break it down
specifically.
Let's break it down by character then. Strand definitely makes sense. Nick, I guess we'll agree to disagree. But
how does Strand make sense? What do we know about Strand that it makes sense?
Because the fact that he's living that same life with Nick. It seems like he's maybe some big shot, like involved in something.
But
legal.
You're saying seems like we know literally nothing about Strand other than that he's got a smooth voice and he can talk his way out of situations.
No, it's
legit. That is the only thing we know about that man.
But I'm saying, like, we've been fed everything we've been fed about Strand makes sense enough that he lives in Nick's world, and if he lives in that world, then it's already implied that that's it.
Yeah, read between the lines, man.
Yeah, and then the same thing, and then like
it's just lines. If I'm being honest, they've kind of made it seem like he's a bullshit artist, like he's a con artist.
A con artist. I don't think
he's lived any sort of life.
That's what I'm saying. If he's doing illegal shit, then it makes sense. But like,
if you're a con artist, you're a con artist. That just means you can talk. It doesn't mean that you have any actual skills or that you've seen anything.
All right,
but
so
he has
it just means that you're a smooth talker.
So one reason why you shouldn't trust.
No, but wait, but getting back to what I'm saying is damn it.
Yeah, you're trying to break down.
This is due to all right, due to necessity. Due to necessity.
The characters maybe you can say it doesn't make sense to are the people who have no power on the boat, which is the mom and the daughter. Victor makes sense to me. Strand, it makes sense to Nick. It makes sense to Travis. It makes sense.
The only person that has power on the boat is Strand.
Right.
The only person that has any power on the boat is Strand because it's his boat. But I don't know if they've sold it on Strand to actually feel that way. Because you know nothing about this dude at all. And, like, if he's a con artist, then why does he feel like anything about that sort of thing? Like, where does his distrust come from? They've done nothing to build up the character of Strand between season 1, and they didn't do anything this episode either. You know, he's single-minded in terms of, like, his actual goal. He knows where he wants to go. You don't know what ulterior motives he has. I mean, all things considered, like, they've really kind of built up the distrust of the character of Strand. They really haven't done anything to make it seem like he has any reason to distrust other people. If anything, it made it seem like the reason why he didn't want to pick up the other people is because fuck it, I'm not stopping. I got something to do.
All right,
y'all with me.
And the resources.
So they weren't hustling him in the pen.
I don't think they were hustling.
So
him
they weren't hustling him in the pen.
No, they with
the watch.
He was giving away all his shit.
They took his cufflinks. But no, they kept taking and taking and taking. And then,
right, and
hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. What happened? His ride never showed up. Of course, his ride got eaten, but who's to say that his ride was even coming back?
Right. They could have been easily trying to fuck him over, but that has nothing. That has no bearing on. That has no bearing on the character of Strand.
On the
he was selling willingly.
It has bearing on his trust issues.
How so? He had no clue. He was giving away his things for the sole purpose of getting special treatment. And he says that much.
So then why didn't he? So then why didn't he put the? So why didn't he put the? I forgot the colonel's name. So why didn't he put the colonel out of his misery when he saw him being eaten alive? And that was supposed to be his boy, his ride out. But for some reason or other, he let him suffer and get his face eaten off.
Right,
because they were taking advantage of him.
I don't know if it has to do with that so much as it means that he knew he was going to get screwed over. I mean, you could take it as being taken advantage of.
Even someone who knows to game someone in power to sell your own thing is to get something you want.
Right,
isn't that really kind of applied though? That like if you see your whole city get bombed and the dead walking, don't you think someone like that it would adapt to this in the way Strand has if he's the kind of con man to have a yacht? That doesn't make sense to you?
It just means he's a really good con man. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not adaptive, but I mean, what it was shown to him to really adapt to a situation past that point where he would all of a sudden just be like what it is. They've done nothing to actually build that character at all, is the point that I'm getting at. Because all you have right now is like, all right, so the character is very smooth. He's blatantly a con artist, and he gives away his shit, and then at one point, it turned out that even though he was giving away his things for favor, that the person he was giving it to was using him all along. Well, whatever. He gets out anyway. He gets on his boat and he bounces. That's literally all the characterization you have right now for Strand. So, like, when he goes in it and he says, okay, fuck these people, I'm going to go, it makes sense because he's singular-minded. Like, it fits with that. But it doesn't make sense for Travis to be okay with that. It doesn't make sense for basically the 5 other people on the boat to make to be in line with that. Because right now, the only characters that sort of thing fits with is Smoothest Talker, El Salvidad. That's it. Those are the only 2 characters that it makes any sense to have that sort of characterization.
Yeah, but the other, you making it seem like the other people were fine with it. Like the wife wasn't fine with it. The daughter wasn't fine with it.
They got over it pretty fucking quick.
But what are they gonna do? Like, they already tried to bring it up to Strand, and you saw how that turned out. It's like, what? I don't understand. Like, what more? And then to draw a comparison to Walking Dead, it's like, it sounds like you want to me, it feels like this show is moving faster, and where it makes sense, where Nick and Strand have adopted to this world. But it seems like you want like more more explanation for the backstories of these characters, which could drag on the show.
What you're asking for right now is what you hate about what was going on with Walking Dead.
That's right.
No,
That's what I feel.
That because it was shitty characterization for Carol. I like when you have character-driven stuff.
So you putting that same trust in
just
these,
because I didn't like it for Carol doesn't mean that
trust in these same writers that you felt so much disdain for in these past few episodes that we were watching in Walking Dead.
Right, because of what they were just doing poor job of writing. Like, that's not really mutually exclusive. This is a different show, and if you're gonna make me want to like it and be invested in the show, then yeah, you kind of have to make me like these characters. You shouldn't end up doing shit like walking back Carol and meandering for 4 episodes.
I just think it is like you gotta think about where they live, how they live. And right. This is just but honestly, I think they really just gotta. I think the writers, they look at us as people and they're like, that we have to realize how people are. Like, you look at a man and the way he moves, you gotta be able to size him up, judge him, even judge him. You gotta be able to size a guy like Strand. He does things this way. A guy like Nick, he does things this way. He feels this way. He trusts because of this, or he loses trust because of that. These are just like a given, especially because of where the area that they live in. You know, like I said, we'll go back to what I said before. This isn't Southern hospitality area. This is more urbanized. This is more like you living like down the block from the hood. You're dealing with more people that are moving more fast paced, that you got to make a decision more fast paced. You don't have like a country mile or a country minute to think about things. Like, you gotta be on point. You gotta make a decision. You gotta do it fast, you know? And the faster and the wiser thing to do would be to, kind of err on the side of caution. The side of caution would be keep it at arm's length.
I think that the writers want to have their cake and they want to eat it too. I think that they know that the show and the scenario that they've built really kind of mandates that people be a little bit more at ease and a little bit more trusting of people. But I think that they know that viewers themselves probably don't want to watch something that would more or less be a retread of seasons 1 to 3. And they don't really have enough skill to do something unique. So I think that because they're kind of stuck in that situation, you run into these characters that they put in that also run into having season 6 and season 7 and season 5 Walking Dead mentalities. And those things don't align with one another. You can try to construe it as being the position that they're in, but I think what they need to do is they need to kind of sit and say, so what is it that makes this show particularly unique? What is it that makes this show different from The Walking Dead? It's the location, it's the time period, and it's the fact that we're not beholden to any actual storylines from a comic. We can whole cloth make up our own shit. And I think that they need to actually go and they need to do something with that.
Instead of just going and retreading a lot of that shit. One of the things that makes it a little more unique are the people. We're dealing with a different breed of people. You understand what I'm saying?
Are we though?
Yeah, we really are, because I'll go back to what I said. That Southern mentality, man, is different from like if you take a suburban kid and a city kid, they just move differently. They just think about things differently. They might be trying to get to the same conclusion, but they're gonna walk different. They're gonna get there differently. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm not going to disagree with that. I know that someone that's from where we are and someone that's from the South is obviously going to be very different. But I think that when you have something that's such a wide-scale event, I think that it takes a certain type of person to jump from 0 to 60 to all of a sudden, like, yo, fuck everyone.
Yeah, that's it's not a mentality that you come just from
having in the North. If you're in an urban environment, all of a sudden, like, oh shit, things are going bad. Like, I think actually to kind of prove that point is not accurate, when we've had events and tragedies occur in northern states, we've kind of banded together. We weren't like immediately like, yo, fuck everyone else. We kind of we put our hands out, we reached out, and we helped other people. That's how we've done in urban environments. So it has nothing to really do with mentality. It has to just deal with being a person. It doesn't really fit with me that all of a sudden, things go wrong and all of a sudden you're like, oh, cutting off everyone.
In the media, we band together in the in the editing rooms and Fox News Channel and CNN News Channel editing rooms.
Because he's more talking about maybe
happen and people haven't banded together. Then that's the outlook that you got, and that's what it's going to be. And I guess it makes more sense for you to be with those people. If that's the personality that you have,
with the people
and
on
that's
Abigail,
the mindset that you have, and it aligns with yours, so go for it. But it doesn't fit with the things that I've seen and the way I've seen other people come together and help out one another, I think it takes a certain type of person to kind of jump to that. And you need to kind of scaffold someone towards that. You know, you went from 0 to 60 because I think you want to have an interesting story earlier than not, instead of making something interesting out of the setting that you had given, making something happen about the outbreak, making something actually compelling from that. And they want it to be something like, all right, so what is it we're going to do? We're going to skip all that shit where we could have actually done something interesting, unique. What we're going to do is going to end up trying to just basically make Walking Dead 2.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think what we're just in disagreement here is just our believability of a few of these characters accepting now, based on their lives in the show, that they've come to terms with it. I think that's just.
I just think they need to do a better job of showing it. I'm not saying that it's impossible for them to feel that way, but I think they need to do something to show that.
And also, man, like, yeah, you know, we banded together in real life, you know, or I shouldn't even say real life. We banded together, of course, but there was still hope for a world when these things occurred. When we were attacked, when the attacks occurred, there was still hope that society was going to go on the next day.
But that's one of the failings actually with this show. I guess to jump into something else is that I hope, well, who knows? Because in the first half they didn't really show it, but I really hope that's what I want out of the show, is to show that, you know, it's to show that we have hope in the world, but like we got like this state next to us falling apart, this city, and seeing how our own city.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that there was hope there was hope of society, but I don't think right now we've seen that. I don't think we haven't really seen that there's any hope for society. So man is at his most primal instinct.
Right. I actually, I agree with Steve here. Because I don't think we've seen enough that there isn't hope for society. Well, actually, maybe. In the first half, didn't they talk about other states with... Yeah,
they're talking about dead zones, man. They're talking about safe zones, dead zones, like...
Safe zones within LA. They don't really know what's going on.
I'm not sure.
Like
we didn't see that
within LA.
We're talking about
a safe zone.
But we're talking about
but you're saying
in LA and how they're dealing with it, though.
You said the rest of the world, though. Because, like, if it's just their... Like, right now, if they haven't explicitly shown on the show or gave us anything to say that, like, where they're in LA, what if, like, Mexico's all fucked up? Then we don't know, you know? Like, that's...
I get what you're saying. But I'm just thinking,
you know?
if there's zombies running around, if there's walkers running around, like, that's really probably going to be it, man.
Right, but you don't know what the deal is.
That's what I'm thinking.
Like,
I understand.
For all you know, that could just be...
That could just be an isolated incident? An isolated incident is what you're telling me?
I'm not saying an isolated incident. It could be something curable. Like, you know, like you would have some kind of, like, you don't know what's going on in the global scheme of things. You have no fucking clue. You know what I mean? So, like, for you to kind of just all of a sudden just abandon all hope immediately,
well, actually,
seems a little bit crazy.
Hear from the Coast Guard that there's no hope to come, actually.
Well, that's the Coast Guard just in this episode where they heard it. But that's just them saying, like, we're not doing anything to help you. You know,
but that's the Coast Guard.
That doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't someone out there working on a cure or some shit. Like I feel like you look at early The Walking Dead, right? Those first couple of seasons, they had a goal where they were trying to go and they were actually working actively, maybe seeing if there was a cure. They went all the way to the fucking CDC, and then that's what, like, you know, like they logistically at that point, hey, I can kind of get you thinking there's no hope, because if the CDC is done and there's nothing there, then like, yeah, my man, word,
no, I like
there's
that.
no
hope.
You're
right. That they
but
need
like,
a
I
clear
think at
goal.
this point, you know, LA is fucked. That's all you got. Like, I think you maybe should have a little bit more hope. I don't think you should abandon it so quickly. You know, and I think that's where I think we were talking about the writers of the situation is just that I think that there's a big failing on their part to make this stuff compelling when they have this opportunity to really do that. And like, you know, you brought up Carol before, but I mean, it's not like there's characterization that you can do. You just have to take the time out to make it done well. You can't just all of a sudden say, well, this character is this now, and then you fill in the pieces yourself. Part of a show is to be able to actually do that on your own. You know, like there's certain things that you can read between the lines in, but to a certain extent, that's, you need to show me and not tell me this shit. You know, there's a part of your job as the writer and the person that's making a show and making a hopefully compelling show that you actually have to go out there and be like, yeah, so these are the things that are happening. And you can't just say, well, this is the situation it's in, you fill in the blanks yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not my job to do that. That's the writer's job. And that's the part of making a good show.
What were you going to say, Jay? Oh, it was cut. Well, good. No, yeah, I hear that. I mean, I don't disagree with that. You know, I definitely don't. Especially how some of the things were handled in The Walking Dead.
You know, like in The Walking Dead, right? One of the big problems, like I brought up before, is the fact they have source material to be beholden to.
Mm-hmm.
Fear the Walking Dead has no source material. They can come up with this shit whole cloth, and that's like the biggest advantage this show has, is they can just be like, yo, this would be a really interesting thing to do, and go for it. They don't have a character, like, there's, theoretically, like, none of these characters have any plot armor. It's like, in Walking Dead, we can pretty safely say Rick's safe from basically everything, right? we can't really say that in this show. Conceivably, Travis can die. Smoothest Talker can die. Not Johnny Depp can die. El Salvador can die.
That's definitely one of the most attractive things. That's one of the most attractive things for sure about the show, in my opinion, at least. Anybody can catch it.
Right. It's a lot more open, I think, in terms of the way that things can go, and I think that makes a very compelling story in the hands of someone that knows how to write a story, I guess.
So I guess to kick it off from the whole Strand and his trust issues and whatnot, how do you guys feel about Alicia trusting this guy on the other end of the receiver? Just this guy Jack, who has a pretty little voice and with this music playing in the background, it's like, oh god, maybe he's one for me.
Playing her favorite song.
Do you guys like how they're depicting her as the naive one, I guess?
Reaching out, she needs something. She just lost her man. She lost the love of her young life. She's trying to refill that. She's trying to fill that void. She's grasping at straws right now.
How did they ever get into how old she is? Her and Nick?
16, I think.
She's 16.
I think Nick's older. I think
Nick seems like he's
like
early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's the same age as Travis's kid. What's his name? Oscar?
Chris?
Maybe.
Yeah.
He looks like an Oscar.
He does actually.
Half these characters, you can tell me their names or whatever they are. I honestly couldn't tell you.
He looks like an Oscar, though. That was a good one.
Yeah.
But I think she's supposed to be the same age as Chris. And then, last season they kind of set up, like, there was that one episode where they were together in the car and shit. And I thought they were kind of hinting at romanticism between them.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah. And then,
Get Jones, Oscar.
And then you don't see any interaction between them two, which was odd because of how they had that interaction at the finale. But now his mother's dead and he's alone. And I figure, that scene where he goes to the basement after he has an argument with his dad, or I think it was after he punched Travis, his dad. Yeah. And then she starts. Then it cuts to her or something, and she goes somewhere else. I thought she was gonna go to his room to console him. But nah, they didn't have no interaction whatsoever.
True.
But yeah, so this what happens, Steve? You gonna say something?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I think in general, maybe everyone is trying to kind of leave him alone because he was mostly hanging out with his dead mom, right?
Yeah, that's true. He was. I forgot that she was kept in the boat for.
Yeah,
that long.
I think the only characters this episode that he really interacted with before he jumped in the water was his dad and his mom, right?
Yeah, since
no, he went outside. He talked to El Salvador, so I guess he was outside on the boat because he was fishing and stuff, right?
Yeah, so he wasn't all locked up the whole time.
Yeah,
he went to speak to him.
Yeah, now I think about it, I think he was trying to pull the plug, man.
When he jumped off?
Yeah, I think he was trying to pull the plug.
Yeah.
I really do, cause I'm remembering this look that he had, he had this look on his face that he was looking like another one. It reminds me of another call, a tagline that they have. The quote: "You stare at the abyss long enough, the abyss starts to stare back at you." Like he was looking into the depths of the abyss of the water. And it seemed like he was becoming hypnotized.
He had that stare.
Yeah, like that 1,000-yard stare. Like I think I'm done.
It was also, I guess, he comes in and he sees the family eating eel and everyone's kind of laughing and having a good time, and like he's kind of thinking that he's the only one that gives a shit that his mom just died.
Yes,
but everyone seems to have kind of moved on. So you think he wants to go jump it?
Yeah, exactly, man. Like,
yeah, they definitely. It seems like they played on that,
Yeah.
But it was quickly put to
yeah, real quick. He's like, "No, I just wanted to swim."
Right when Nick jumps in the water after him.
Yeah, because he's Oscar. He's still a little flighty. You know, he's a little frail still. You know, I'm like, no, I'm not trying to kill myself.
No, I was just swimming. It's all good.
Swimming in the fucking ocean. Sharks and zombies. Imagine zombie sharks.
Yeah. Nick is turning into the utility guy for sure, though.
He really is. Well done, Nick. Well done, Nicholas.
Didn't even hesitate. Just jumped out into the water.
Yo, he
knew how to swim. He's like a freaking mermaid, a merman.
He's telling the. What's Alicia? Not Alicia. The other daughter, Ophelia. He's telling her about her bandage. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, he might be moving in for that one too, right there, okay?
I feel like that's what they're setting up is Nick with Ophelia and Chris with Alicia.
Yeah. I like Oscar better.
Oscar. We're going that. Oscar, El Sabi Dad, smoothest talker.
Dad.
How about Greg Doug from last week?
Greg Doug, yeah.
Greg Doug.
That was hilarious.
Wait, who?
But
oh yeah,
what did he?
That's the future, man. I don't know nothing about that yet.
That's 3 years later, man. But he pulled up something, so he goes in, he jumps in the water, and then he starts swimming, I guess, himself, and then all of a sudden he sees an underwater zombie. Like, is that what happened? Because it was a little confusing the way it was shot.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. Because it seemed...
He goes in there.
No, go ahead.
No, say it.
I was just going to say how it was just one of those scenes again where you have nothing. It seems like your little area is safe, and then bam, a zombie pops up.
Right. I don't know where.
A swimming zombie too.
Floating.
Or floating.
Oh, but that could have been that's a good foreshadowing though. Why is that zombie out there? There was death going on out in the water, very close by.
Mm-hmm.
True. And
who's getting
that fucked up boat?
That fucked up boat.
How long
My man
do
got
you think
too close to that zombie though. Like I don't know if he like knew it was a zombie, but like he should be like, I don't know what this person is, so maybe I'm gonna stay away from it.
Like not even a poke.
Real.
Yeah, he tried to smell his breath. Like, is he rotten yet? Is this man rotten yet? Hold up, man.
No, I was gonna say what was going on with the zombie in the boat.
That's a good question.
It just turns away. I mean, it just stops attacking him like that. What the hell?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. What the hell
Only
was that
zombie
about?
in both shows to do something like that. Like,
or maybe. Nah, I was gonna say like like in another zombie movie reference, World War Z, that the zombies they don't attack those who are maybe like defective or infected or terminally ill. And since Nick is a little defective,
imagine that he's immune to being eaten.
I mean, he told Smoothest Talker every time he shoots up, he dies. So maybe he's dead.
Maybe
he's been dead.
He's the Walking Dead.
This is all. Imagine he's in purgatory right now. This is next door. He's in purgatory. He's dead.
But what if this is a zombie's conscious? You know, like what if this show is that? This is all in the mind of a zombie. Everything that's happening.
What? And Nick's
that would be a crazy twist as a season finale, right?
And then Nick's a zombie, and they're just like walking him around like Michonne did, the two brothers. I mean, the two guys like that.
Yeah. I think they were her brothers.
No, one was her brother.
One was her
husband.
Oh.
Yeah. Damn. Wait, who's Michonne?
Michonne?
Who's Michonne?
This down the line.
I don't see Michonne. See El Savi Dad. Smooth Talker.
But question though about the ship, not Abigail, the one that they encountered. Did it seem like, or is this like too much like investigative reports going on right now? Do you think it was being attacked like more from the outside or more from the inside or both, or what do you think was? Because I thought like in order for the bullet holes to be where they were, like it had to maybe have gone down inside the boat. But then if the boat did capsize, then were they still shooting at the boat? That could be a possibility too.
Well, now that you bring it up,
the boat.
But now that you bring it up,
she
you
did
heard
say that,
right?
Yeah, that's why I was just gonna come to my own conclusion. Or was it that they did board and that it did happen in the ship? Was that real? That's definitely
what was happened? The thing you picked up with the radio? You said that you remembered that the first thing she heard, it was something about boarding, right?
Yeah.
And then some other woman on the channel saying that they don't have.
We don't have any supplies
or
like
whatnot.
Yeah.
And then the show in that moment we saw that it was channel 16 on the on the radio. And after the music plays and then that guy Jack appears, it's still the same channel.
Still the same channel.
So it's interesting to maybe the people in the beginning of before that music started playing, that's when the pirates encountered them.
Yeah.
You know, in that moment.
And then and then at the end of everything, Jack turned the music on, maybe just to silence the killing.
That's yep.
And since it was all done, he was happy with himself, and that's his favorite song.
But I don't know, wasn't
that song about death? Wasn't it about like
there's something going on
with
the
love of like something obscure, something strange? I think so. Speculation.
Yeah. Nah, I mean the pirates. I definitely think that like they definitely aborted them. I think the boat was too small for anything less, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to tell. I guess like it looked capsized, and what I assumed from the bullets and stuff was that we're trying to kill like stragglers in the water.
Yeah, that they were just unloading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any thoughts on Jack, Steve? Or the boat, these pirates?
Jack himself. I mean, I think it'll be interesting.
Captain Jack. Oh my god, you just blew my mind.
What if it turns out that they're good guys? What if it turns out there's nothing wrong with them?
Like Bob. Remember Bob? I thought Bob was for the longest time, I thought Bob was like a government scientist, like running around with the cure, or maybe running around with like infecting people. Like he's working for somebody. He's a double agent. Bob from Walking Dead, obviously.
Poor Bob.
I did not trust Bob. I did not trust Bob for the longest time. Poor guy.
Poor guy met his end in a horrible way.
Horrible way.
They were eating his leg.
That's true.
We don't know Bob yet, though. That's down the line.
I don't know Bob. Who's Bob?
So that would be a crazy twist, though, if Jack actually turns out to be a good guy. There's maybe a couple scenarios where either Jack is within the group of the bad guys, and maybe he forms a relationship with Alicia to like help them out.
Right.
Or maybe he wasn't even part of the pirates in some way. Maybe like the station just got overlapped or whatever that happens. The frequency, the channels overlap or something.
Yeah, well, we heard like their transmitter went down. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like Jesus. Like you said, he's helping. He's involved with all parties. Wait, no, who's Jesus?
That's true. That's a good point.
Damn my mouth. My god awful mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's an interesting thing that we can potentially see what happens, I guess, right? Like, it can go one of two ways, I suppose. Really couldn't go anywhere else. But, I don't know. I kind of want to see what happens with it, because that's really the only thing that can really kind of happen now, right? I guess it has to be that they're bad people.
Yeah.
Where else could the story really go at this point? Like, I guess that's a good question, is where do you guys see the story going? What do you think is going to happen this season?
Well, I'll start off with what I don't want to see. And what I don't want to see is just them being locked out on this boat and just being a parallel to, like, the prison or the farm in The Walking Dead, But what I think will happen, and what I hope will happen, is that they encounter whoever these people are, and then we start seeing really if there's gonna be any plot armor building. Because maybe right now, if there's anyone that could be saved, it's probably Nick. Otherwise, the other characters that as we were saying before, none of them really have plot armor at this point, So.
I don't know. I kind of have a thing for Madison though.
The wife?
Yeah, I do. I feel like she's got strength. She's ready to make the call. She's ready to make the tough decisions. I feel.
You think that keeps her though from getting the axe?
I think in my heart right now, I feel like she's ready to She's ready to move forward. She's ready to survive in my heart, in my mind right now. So she's kind of got like I'm kind of carrying a Madison flag right now. So she's got some armor. She's building the armor in my eyes.
So where do you want her to go, or the show in general right now?
I think she needs to start. She's got to start stepping up, talking, maybe taking more control, because to have one focus, to have one mind making all the decisions for the crew in this situation, since we don't know much about the world, right? That's a little narrow-minded. That's a little too blinded for me. You got the horse blinders on. You need more perspective, since we don't know anything of what's going on out there. So you need more perspective, because like with the other world that we deal with, one man could lead the group because they already know what's going on. And
they built the relationship.
They built the relationships, they don't. But here, we need more perspective. So I feel like I want her coming up more to the wheelhouse. Relief Captain Madison.
So do you guys see a situation where maybe once they don't have to use him anymore for his yacht or whatever resources he can provide them? Do you think maybe there'll be some sort of conflict between Strand and the family?
Like Strand's got to go?
Yeah, you think maybe he'll want to cut off someone from the group when they've landed, wherever they're going, wherever they're heading, A big blowout.
I can see it.
Yeah. I could see
it just easily being like as soon as they're off the boat, and then he really kind of loses some of the power he has, because right now it's his boat. But if they ever get off of it, it's like, well, why do we need to listen to you? Get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, they have a reason to be tight knit with one another because it's literally their family. They really don't have any particular reason to be beholden to Strand if he starts really to kind of. If he's so invested in doing one thing and they're not really down with that, they can just as easily just kind of be like, all right, so go do your own thing. We're going to do ours. Mm-hmm. I think that could be like an interesting thing to see, I guess, is where they take it. Like, because obviously I don't really want them to be on the boat the whole season either. But once they get off the boat, what has the dynamic change? What do they do when they're off the boat, Do they lose the boat entirely? Is that why they get off the boat?
Yeah. How do you guys feel that the goal for this for the show right now is to just get to wherever it is that this guy we may or may not be able to trust is taking us, instead of something like what we talked about in the beginning of this episode with The Walking Dead? It's inevitable to draw the comparisons. But in The Walking Dead, how we said in the first season they had the CDC they needed to get to. And that they needed to get to the CDC and needed to find out what was going on with the world, and it was very clear and defined what they were doing.
Right. I think that it's clear and defined too, but it's also giving an end goal to these shows. I feel like like you said, it's inevitable to make a comparison between the two, and one of the problems that The Walking Dead kind of ran into for the last couple of seasons, honestly, was spinning its wheels and like running into the same problems of going into a new place. Okay, maybe this could be where we live. Nope. Finding a new place. Maybe this could be where we live. Nope. Like, it kind of fell into that same pattern, and there needs to be some sort of an end game type scenario for them to kind of have something to build towards. I feel like this show kind of needs that as well. Mm-hmm. You really don't have that at the show, and you kind of actually, like, one of the things that was exciting about where they're going with the new show is that eventually they're kind of leading towards like a new status quo. Whereas in this, like, I feel like they can kind of easily do that early enough in the run. Be it, let's try to find a cure, let's do CDC. Like, I don't know quite what it could be, because I know that the avenues that I think were probably most interesting to cover were already skipped.
No.
So I
no, I don't think so, because like I said, where they're going to San Diego.
Yeah, right. I think they still have an opportunities to cover it.
Oh, definitely.
Now we're gonna see the finality possibly, or we're gonna get some closure as to whether or not we still have a chance as a country or as a civilization to fight back against this epidemic. You know, through the military, they're gonna see if if there's still a stronghold there, if there's still.
Well, we could hope.
Yeah, if there's still hope there.
Are you talking like universe-wise? You mean for this specific show?
No, I mean like for the for the specific show.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I just I think like the interesting things were to be the thing. Like I'm not disagreeing. I think that like it would have been like we had kind of said previously. I really wanted to see the actual beginning of the outbreak.
Oh, of course, yeah, you're right. I would have too, man.
Yeah, and like I think that they kind of squandered those opportunities, and at this point, like there's certainly something I think like the exploration of a new area, and I think that could in and of itself be interesting, and I think it's something the characters obviously need is to kind of get a better sense of like, oh no, the world is fucked. But in terms of like an actual interesting story, if you were to ask me initially what I wanted out of the show, I think that they already kind of like decided beforehand in the third episode of the first season to kind of mess that up. So I'm a little bit open in terms of where the show can go in its direction, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's see what the Navy has to offer us. Let's see what the Navy has to offer us, because that's
honestly,
that's where I'm betting. That's what I'm betting on that we're going to encounter. Yeah, definitely. Because what do? Like, they send, I really feel like this is me just, putting theories out there, but if you want to keep things real secret, you either go into a mountain underground or you go out into the ocean, out into the sea. So I feel like a lot of those secret covert operations, they're going down. All the studies, they're going down on a carrier ship in the middle of the ocean, and
true.
And maybe we'll get some answers from the Navy, man. Come on, hopefully.
You know what though, we said before that the show isn't beholden to the comics at all. But I think when they said, like, when they were originally coming out and pitching the show, didn't they say that we still would never find out about, like, what caused the outbreak?
Yeah,
like, they're kind of self-limiting themselves.
That. Was it
right?
What caused the outbreak, or is it, or probably both even, or like an end, like a cure?
Right. I think it was kind of both that they kind of set out, which kind of sucks because that is really, it's to kind of move a little bit like laterally here. I know a lot of people that don't read the comics, but like are like, with the show specifically, that their point of view on the show is that they need an end game because the show is kind of spinning its wheels and kind of retreading these old plots, and it doesn't seem to be building towards something. A lot of the Negan stuff and where it seems to be going and like what actually effectively happens is kind of like game chaining, and like I said, changes the status quo in the situation. It's a legitimate plot development. Whereas, like, originally you kind of had things like for the longest time you had a Eugene, and they were kind of talking about like, I know how to make a cure, and like, I think a lot of people like took that seriously, like that was a possibility of something, and people were kind of excited at that prospect because like that would be something to see, right? Is like, how many times can you do this plot, but this plot, but this plot, without trying to move towards like, hey, let's actually like fix things. And I think that this show could really benefit from going forward in that let's try to fix things area, that could be an interesting thing to see, because we know that the other show isn't going to handle that at all. So it would be an interesting thing to see like this show kind of deal with like, oh man, here's like an oil rig, but it's like doing medicine research and stuff, like here's some struts and whatever.
Yes.
But if they're not going to handle that, that kind of does suck a little bit,
Yeah, for sure.
Limit yourself in a way you don't need to, creativity can be a little bit more creative otherwise.
Did you see the previews for next week?
I did, but I was paying a little attention to it, and it was one of those this season on Fear the Walking Dead, not
like a preview of the season itself, not just next episode.
Right, so like here's like just a bunch of flashing shit and characters saying things. It was like it really didn't mean anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like get hyped, like, eventually Smoothest Talker's gonna say something. It's like that's really all you got. Like it wasn't really indicative of anything.
Yo. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I thought your mic cut out.
Nope.
Yeah. So it's not indicative of anything. That was the.
Nah, it was just a lot of things like this season. Here's Smoothest Talker. He said something, and like I don't know. It's not anything that really stuck with me at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
They also had that Preacher preview.
The Preacher? Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had like a minute clip. But did you guys see that?
I didn't know.
Wait, one more question. You think there's possibly any kind of humanity left in these? Any kind of like since the brain, the brain is working on a minimal level. Is there any kind of humanity left in these creatures at this early level, at this early stage?
Well, how fast did they get to the CDC in the first season of The Walking Dead? Because we learned, we got that question answered, really, I guess.
We don't know how long after everything started, though, that season started.
Because I think we
asked
the question.
It was Rick got shot. He was only in the hospital for like a couple weeks.
Do we know he was only in there for a couple weeks?
Well,
because we don't know the timeline. He
wasn't in there for years. The human body can't survive without anything for more than.
I mean, human body can't rise after it's dead.
Well, let's be real though. Rick's not in that hospital bed for 2 years, unconscious. You know what I
mean?
That would have been a long beard. His beard would have been a lot longer.
True, but I mean,
the reason why I ask is because in the ship, remember when why did the walker stop attacking Nick?
Yeah, I mean,
it saw the sun. It came into the sunlight that was coming in through the bullet holes of the hull of the ship, and it became like.
It calmed down. It seemed like.
Yeah, due to the sunlight.
I don't know. Yeah. Was it the sun or was it the noise at the time, like the voices?
I thought it was. I think it's an interesting thing to think about it being the sun, but I thought that it was Travis's voice because
like
heard him say Nick, and then I thought that he kind of turned at that, which is what was interesting to me in general, was because it's like all the shows between the two, we've never seen like a zombie respond to sound in that capacity where like it stopped attacking
just like in the moment.
Yeah, that's a good question too. There's something going on there. That's a good
So could that be something that they're planting as something we won't find out next episode, that we may not find out until like the whole whispering in Rick's ear deal of the CDC? Like maybe this is something to the zombies to manipulate them.
I would love it if it was that. I think that would be really cool. But my immediate thought is, man, Nick's kind of cool. Let's not kill him. Because I think the zombie literally, if I had to like put it in the process of it, was kind of like, all right, but if we kill you, then like the rest of the characters aren't as cool, so no one's gonna watch the show really. So we just, oh shit, a Twinkie, you know what I mean? Like, kind of got distracted by some other bullshit.
So he was just saturated with dead water, and he heard Travis's voice. And then the zombie, the walker lost his scent, and then heard another human. Was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go there."
Well, he sat there. He's like, "Listen, that other guy's there. He sounds like a douchebag. This guy Nick is all right though. Who would I rather eat? Let's get the douchebag."
Do I want to get high, or do I want to get fed?
That's true.
Because if he eats Nick,
zombies on drugs are just normal people.
It's true.
That's crazy. They just, because it seemed like the zombie got shot or something, because it was just like, I'm gonna eat you, and now what's that over there? But not even like curious of that what's over there. Like the zombie was just not animated anymore and just turned away and looked towards the light, the voice.
Right.
It reminded me of like Land of the Dead when they went with the sky flowers. Like they shoot the sky flowers, and then they're all like, "Oh, sky flowers." There's still
That's the one with John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
I hated that movie.
You didn't like that movie?
I mean, everything. It's too much comedy. And then you had the smart zombie that he started learning
He evolved.
And then they walked under the water.
Yeah. He took the butcher's hand with the axe.
Right? Yeah,
He hit the door like that.
Like, oh, look at this.
He showed him how to shoot, where to shoot.
It's crazy.
Beautiful thing.
What was it he was looking for anyway? Because he says something like, I heard a voice, but then he immediately like gives up on that.
I think he heard the banging and the just rustling around. Because he did say he heard someone, right? But
yeah, he's like, I hear someone, and then like he goes in there to go see it, and it's like, oh, there's some zombies, and he takes the fucking yacht book, like the yacht notebook or whatever, and then like he bounces.
Yeah, that's probably like where they've been, who was on the ship, who was on the yacht, you know, what's on the yacht, why they might have been attacked. Is there reasonings? Yeah, that's like the black box.
I mean, it just looked like a little book in a plastic. It
was a diary. That's what it was. It's a diary of a wimpy kid. Diary of a yachty kid.
And then after that, I mean, it all wraps up right back together with Strand saying, "This is why those people, right there with that boat, what they encountered, is why I told you not to be trusting people." So. I thought that was interesting how it's like, all right, baby, we got to start believing this guy more often, like more immediately. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the relationship changes, though. If they'll still question him, or I guess it depends on how this next part plays out. Obviously, right? If the pirates are there to kill them and take them over, or if they're like their best friends, and it wasn't Jack that was that shot up that boat.
Interesting.
So I guess anything else you guys wanna?
That's it. I think that was a good.
Overall, you thought it was a good first episode?
I did. From seeing Nick's hair blowing in the wind while he's on the what they call it, the deploy.
The what?
The boat, the little dinghy.
Oh, yeah.
Being a hero, doing the runs, as I told you, Nick. It's a good episode, man.
Yeah, overall I liked it. But I just got my defensive wall up right now because I don't want this. It's just. I'm just going in cautious, not expecting the world, but also expecting disappointment, But I guess that's just how I am at this point.
Yeah, that's how you are. It's cool.
I don't know. How about you, Steve? You looking forward to the rest of the season, or like are you at a point where you ready to cut the show off at a certain point?
I mean, I don't think I'm ready to cut it off quite yet. I think I need to kind of see what happens first. I mean, all things considered, like I wasn't too hot on the episode, but I wasn't too negative on it either. So I think I just kind of need to see where things go. But I definitely am not looking forward to a whole season on a boat. That would be
seasick.
That would be a momentum killer. I wouldn't lie.
Yeah.
This show, I think, has more. Not to say that, if I'm being honest, like I don't think The Walking Dead is all that great either in terms of writing and stuff. It definitely has its issues. But between the two, I think that I'm a lot more willing to cut this one off than the other,
Yeah.
Just because of, like, its pedigree of where it comes from, I guess. I don't know how to explain that very well. But, if I were to cut something.
Because I feel, I mean, if you're feeling that way about The Walking Dead, then I can understand if the writing's on the wall pretty much. If you see certain signs heading with this show, you're like, damn, do I really want to invest in another 7 seasons of ups and downs and maybe more downs than ups,
Yeah. I know a lot of people that have more or less not dropped The Walking Dead entirely, but have kind of put it on a point where it's like, I'll check it out when it's on Netflix. And I can see myself getting to a point with this show before I could The Walking Dead. I'm not really one to really drop a show like that. It kind of takes something usually for that to happen. But I can see that happening with this, I suppose. It's a thing for both shows, I guess. It needs to be how long certain things get drawn out. And if, writing on the wall is in one situation and then you kind of see it going for both, like, I'm not necessarily tied into either of these things, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They need to work to keep me,
Yeah. I totally respect that. It's just shit. I just hope it's just, damn, I just can't get over the fact that, they said that they're not going to show it, but I'm just so fascinated by how this all started and,
right.
Diving into that, like
the downfall, man, the demise.
Is there anything that covers that? Any zombie material? Because I remember that was one of the things I loved about The Walking Dead early on, is how they explained the process of you're human, you get the fever, then what happens to your brain after you die, then you become a walker. I loved that in-depth explanation of it, and I feel like we didn't really get that in other fiction of zombie material, at least that I'm aware of. I'm not trying to say I read everything that has to do with zombies, but I feel like I would that's something that I would really love to see from this show, but I don't know if we're gonna get that.
I agree entirely. It's a weird space they're in because, it's a show that's gotten so much bigger, and like the show has so much more popularity than even the comics has, but they are still beholden to Kirkman and it's his universe, and they can't really go outside of those lines to do any of that sort of thing,
Yeah.
So it's tough to say, because I think that it would be super interesting. I think that would be like, if that ends up being the purpose of Fear the Walking Dead, is to kind of end up being like, here's an explanation for all those early day things that we never really got a chance to cover in the other one. Like, this is the opportunity to kind of do that. And then nice if you just kind of gave the blessings, be like, yeah, go explore, do your own thing, do whatever you want with that. Because I mean, in a lot of ways, when you think about the comics and the show, they've diverged in general anyway,
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they haven't. So I don't see why there's a need to be like, hobbling this show and preventing it from being as interesting as it could be, It's like before the show even aired, you had kind of already kind of limited it.
Yeah. Oh, that was it? It sounded like you got cut off again. I guess
Nah.
Oh, okay.
No, that was it.
But you were gonna say something else, then it sounded like I cut you off right there.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna start wrapping it up. I think that it's the season. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, and I want to kind of see what happens to it.
All right. So you want to wrap this up? You guys want to let's call this up? So I guess this was episode 9 of Day After Dead, right? This is episode 9. We made it. It's crazy. Didn't think we gotta make it past 2, up to 9. Gotta keep going strong.
Kind of. We're gonna do some stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, there's always stuff being planned. Some things that are being drawn out. Hopefully they come to fruition.
Drawn
to life.
To life.
I think there's some things you can look forward to, and if you're looking forward to this right now, you're watching it the day of that it's aired, stay tuned to the YouTube channel and iTunes, and see some other stuff we have in store. There's a couple other shows that we all watch. Better Call Saul, some of those more comic related things like The Flash and whatnot, and Game of Thrones is starting up soon.
Yep.
2 weeks from now, so
I'm hyped. I hear that little humming. I see where you're going with that.
I love it.
So, I mean, obviously, Dad can't go into that. So, without revealing too much of what we have down the pipeline, we definitely want to find an avenue of some sort to get our thoughts out on a big show like Game of Thrones. So
it's just a matter of stay tuned. Like Dad is the beginning. We're gonna go kind of expand a little bit, You know, we're always out there putting something new out there. You know, if you look in general on the iTunes and not even that, even just the YouTube channel, you know, YouTube/the IXI Club. You know, there's a lot of stuff on there that we're kind of putting out, a lot of new content. So you should definitely check it out if you like hearing us talk about this. There's a lot of other things we're going to be talking about that
video games,
entertainment in general.
I might even play
out there,
some,
man. Just get in there.
in order to.
Maybe some Let's Plays, you know. There's a couple different things we have planned. So.
Lots of podcasts, you know. Podcasts are coming. You know, some weekly shows, some bi-weekly shows. Things are happening. Get in, ground floor. Let's go. You know,
we could just set me up with like a video game. Like you could send in your ideas for video games that Jay could play, and then you can come watch us.
Have like a discussion on it, a podcast video on that.
A podcast video on like how bad Jay is at this game, or oh my god, he's a natural.
That would be cool.
It'd be like an experiment on, you know, going from an average dude, which is not too average, that's, you know, whatever, to being a gamer.
And maybe.
That'd be cool.
So if people want to reach you,
the journey of a gamer,
where can they reach you? Let's see what you got for this one, because we know how you end the shows.
Reach me?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't.
I thought you were gonna come up with something creative. You can't reach me. You can't see me.
You can't reach me, man. You know,
it's like John Cena.
You in the water, and I gotta reach for you. In order for you to get on Abigail, man.
You're the one throwing the lifelines out there, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Sorry people. I'm sorry. But talk to Steve though. He's a little more trusting.
Yeah, you know.
We love him though. We love him.
If you want to reach me, I'm FUNKNOWN. You can reach me on Twitter at UnknownIXI. We also the IXI Club at IXI Club on Twitter too. Sometimes we stream. You can see us at twitch.tv/IXI Club. And anything. Oh, and the email, theIXIClub@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to share with us, shoot us an email, send us a message, leave a comment on this video, on YouTube, wherever you can, and we'll try to get back to you.